whenever we are talking about global B schools, they always look at your profile in totality and not just your GMAT score, right? Your GMAT score is a reflection of some part of where you are right now. But if you're able to carve out just 1 hour consistently for 90 days, you'll be good to go. I think it really matters that what is the context in which you want to do your education. Education should not be a compulsion, right? कि पूरी दुनिया MBA कर रही है तो मैं भी MBA करूँगा. Will not add value to anybody.
Do people get the chance to score more now and get into the top particular B schools that they dream of getting into? Like magically 650 से 720 हो जाएगा क्या उसके बाद?
Actually reverse होगा.
Let's give them a perspective, since a lot of people here sitting, they have never taken a GMAT exam before. What exactly is the GMAT exam? Give a brief overview of what do you guys test and who is it for?
So the GMAT exam is the most widely accepted global B school entrance exam. We are accepted in over 7,700 different universities, programs across 2,500 universities in over 110 countries. Now, this is just to give a perspective of the scale of GMAT, but eventually it all distills down to what we are trying to assess. We are trying to assess a candidate's fitment into any institution of their choice and vice versa as well, right? So, GMAT as an exam, it tests you for 3 main different aspects now. When I'm talking about the focus edition, it looks at your verbal ability, it looks at your quantitative ability and your data interpretation ability. And all of these abilities put together really is going to decide, or it's going to showcase, give a sense of institutions as to how well prepared you are in your management education journey. And I'm not talking about MBA, I'm talking about management education. Could be masters, could be your executives, could be your MBA, any master's education. Also, it gives you a sense of where you are on your journey, what's your entry point into that institution like, and hopefully what you're trying to achieve while you exit that institution, right? So that is what GMAT is. It's not just an exam, it's an overall journey in itself. It helps you understand more about yourself. It helps you analyze what you really want to do with your management education.
And how does it differ from, say, an exam like CAT or NMAT or what are the other exams? ZAT, CMAT, yeah.
So, fun fact here, we also own and administer the NMAT exam. So, the NMAT exam is also owned by the GMAC, which is the Graduate Management Admission Council. But the way it primarily differs from all of the other exams that you just mentioned when we are talking about the MAT, the CAT, mostly all of the Indian exams, GMAT is not an elimination exam, right? So all of the exams that you spoke about, especially say if I have to compare it with CAT, CAT is specifically an elimination exam which is designed for whether a candidate can get into an IIM or not. GMAT is not built for that, right? GMAT is an aptitude assessment wherein we are not trying to assess whether you can get into a Harvard or a Wharton or not. Right? The idea is to understand that where are you in your present management education journey and what needs to improve in yourself, right? So that's why there is nothing known as a cutoff for GMAT. Whenever we are talking about global B schools, they always look at your profile in totality and not just your GMAT score, right? Your GMAT score is a reflection of some part of where you are right now. So that is how it primarily differs. And then of course there are structural differences because it's much more friendlier. It doesn't believe in one opportunity, you get multiple opportunities towards your GMAT, you're not limited by time. So there are a lot of structural differences, but this is what the primary difference is.
So you had a sales career is what you told me, Debaion, and help people understand if they decide that they want to work now, they don't want to get into a B school right now. And because all of these people here, they either graduates or are going to be graduate this year or something like that. So if they decide work in, say, a sales domain like yours, when you were working with Zomato or InfoEdge, do they go for an exam like GMAT? Is that something that they should be looking at? What is the number of years that they should be spending working and then should consider an exam like this, or is there like no such limitation or boundary or any such requirement as such to take this particular exam? And did you also think about it at some point?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did. And I've already taken my GMAT, so just to give a context. But see, GMAT allows you a lot of flexibility in a lot of different ways, primarily from a perspective that your score is valid for 5 years, which basically means, and it is something which is built for everybody. You could be somebody who is immediately looking to get or continue his educational journey even after your graduation. You don't want to say go for an work-ex. You feel that I'm in that frame of mind that I want to continue my education, get over with it. You have the ability to do that. But for a lot of people, they want to get some work-ex under their belt before they go in for a management education, because that's an expensive commitment that they are making. And getting work-ex before you enter into your management education gives you a lot of context as to whatever I'm learning, what will be the practical applicability of it in a business scenario, right? The understanding is much better. So if you are one of those people, you have the ability to take your GMAT exam, bank your scores with you, and then actually utilize these scores 3, 4, 5 years down the line when you feel that you are ready, your profile, your candidature is much more well suited to the kind of B school that you want to get into, right? Specifically because a lot of elite B schools, a lot of tier 1 B schools actually would ask for work-ex. So you would want to get that work-ex under your belt, right? But at the same time, you want to get over with an exam while you still are in that education mindset, because once you kind of get into your job, it becomes very hard, specifically if you're in a sales job, it gets very hard for you to carve out time for yourself, right? So I say that it's always better to give your exam while you're in that mindset, get your score, and then decide for yourself, what do you want to do? Do you want to take some time off from studies, get some experience, and then go in for your MBA? Or you want to continue, get over with your education? You have the ability to do it. So GMAT gives you that flexibility to choose as per your wants.
Debaion, we are a stories platform, right? And we would like to hear stories, and I would like to hear from you. While you were preparing for an exam like this, you were in your sales career. Was it at its peak?
Yes.
How difficult was it for somebody who was, doing sales probably the whole day and then coming back home and then sitting with their, books, because you have to prepare and want to get somewhere?
Okay. So it does require commitment, right? You have to carve out a certain amount of time, and it has to be a planned process, So see, GMAT as an exam, it's not a people who give more time to it are not necessarily the ones who will do better at it, right? GMAT as an exam, it rewards consistency over time, right? I say that it's something that can easily be prepared for in about 3 months. 3 to 4 months is all you need to prepare for your GMAT exam. It is going to assess some very basic concepts, right? It's not going to assess how good you are on your or how detailed you are on your algebra and your equations, right? No, that's not what this is going to do, right? It's going to assess certain basic things, and the way that you get good at it is not by spending say 9 hours in a day suddenly कि आज मैं बहुत पढ़ूंगा, ऐसा नहीं होगा. But if you're able to carve out just 1 hour consistently for 90 days, and I mean consistently, right, without any excuses, without any reasons for yourself, you'll be good to go. And the difference that brings, those 90 days will bring to you, is something that you will keep with you for the rest of your life. So again, as I said, it's a journey. It's not something that, chalo, GMAT ke liye prepare ho gaya, exam de diya ho gaya. Those 90 days will really change your habits towards how you approach these kind of situations. So consistency is the key over quantum of studies, right? So that's one key tip that I will give to anybody.
Understood. How big in stature GMAT has grown in India when we are speaking about particularly? So just to keep it in context, how big GMAT has become in terms of preferred exam for a lot of people in India, and do you see the growth to be substantial?
So to give a context about how big GMAT has become over time, so let's also talk a little about the AICTE. AICT is the All India Council for Technical Education. That's for the PGDM Institute. All the PGDM courses fall under that. MBA और PGDM में अंतर I'm assuming ज़्यादा लोगों को पता ही होगा. But GMAT is the only globally ratified exam in India right now, right? So there is no other global exam which is ratified by the AICTE. And there are just 6 exams in total that are ratified the AICTE. Just to give you context of GMAT. GMAT is now accepted in over 100 B schools in India, which includes the IIMs, includes of course ISB, sabko pata hi hoga. I think the context of GMAT has really grown wider across the last many years. GMAT is not just an exam which opens up global opportunities. किसको बाहर जाना है तो सिर्फ GMAT लो, ऐसा नहीं है anymore. GMAT is just equally accepted, opens up larger opportunities in India as well. In terms of numbers, we have steadily grown over the last many years. So we have close to about 40 or 1,000 takers for GMAT every year from India. And that number is continuing to increase year on year, right? So, and that's all because primarily we have always focused the conversation around the global opportunities. But now that we talk about more Indian opportunities as well, this number will continue to go up. So
also one trend that I want to know, I mean, this is probably is my bias or my understanding of it. More people who are willing to do a 1-year MBA program take this examination and not the people who want to do a 2-year MBA program. Is that right? Is that bias correct or the trend correct?
No, that's not completely correct. Primarily because 1 year or a 2-year MBA is by definition given out, or it's institute specific and not individual or the program specific thing, right? So there are many great 1-year institutions, 1-year MBA institutions across the world, including in India. For example, ISB, the PGP program, it's a 1-year management program, right? You go to INSEAD is a 1-year program. A lot of institutions in Europe offer 1-year MBA. But 2-year MBA is still the traditional norm, right? You want to go to Harvard, Wharton, it's 2 years MBA. And why GMAT kind of fits in for both, is acceptable across both, is because 1 year or 2-year MBA is really a factor of structure. A 1-year MBA is just a more concise version of a 2-year MBA. So कुछ 2 years MBA देते हैं, कुछ 1 years MBA देते हैं. GMAT दोनों जगह चलता है.
Okay. अभी एक और वर्जन है जो अभी चलने वाला है in terms of GMAT. Let's talk about that, and we're talking about focus edition. I remember talking to Seema about it, and I've asked her कि यार मतलब इस चिड़िया की क्या ज़रूरत थी. So I'm going to ask you that. Why did you change the format of the examination? Who were the people who probably you considered saying कि अच्छा now is the time when we need a rejig in the way we assess people, and how has it become different? Like in a nutshell, if you have to explain from the two, how has it changed?
ये थोड़ा सा लंबा आंसर होगा. But I think it's a very valid question, yaar. I think we get this question a lot, and I think the context is very important for everybody who's generally known GMAT to be a more traditional type of an exam, right? But with exam, just like the evolving business world, an examination that assesses individuals for that business world also needs to evolve, right? And the GMAT Focus Edition in essentiality is just an evolution of the existing GMAT that we have had. The reason why we had to do this is because we are a council, right? So as in council, our biggest advantage is we get to speak to a lot of institutions across the globe. We get to speak to a lot of candidates across the globe. And it gives us a lot of context as to what is those necessary skills that are being evaluated nowadays vis-a-vis skills that were relevant, say, many years before, right? And that is what essentially led to the evolution of the Focus Edition, where we were able to identify that there were certain aspects that were no longer as relevant in business context that the existing edition of GMAT was assessing. And there are certain aspects that are becoming more and more relevant in the business scenarios.
For
example, let us pick up one very small thing such as data interpretation, right? A few years back, we did not have as much access to tools that allowed for immediate decision making via visual interpretation of data. But now, anything and everything, even the smallest business decision is being taken quickly and more efficiently by data, right? That's why you see that data interpretation, which is now data insights, is now a key component of the overall GMAT. पहले एक हमारा सेक्शन होता था इंटीग्रेटेड रीजनिंग बोल के, जो डेटा इंटरप्रिटेशन असेस करता था, बट वो आपके कॉम्पोजिट स्कोर का पार्ट नहीं होता था. But then we started speaking to the B schools and we were able to understand that these are aspects that are becoming more and more important, right? So now that becomes a complete section of its own. Data insights बोल के एक complete section आ जाता है और वो आपके composite score का part बन जाता है. उसके साथ साथ कई ऐसी चीज़ें जो हमने निकाली भी, जैसे geometry, sentence correction, and even something as an essay, which was very synonymous with the GMAT exam, right? कि essay तो लिखना पड़ेगा. But in the focus edition, there is no longer essay, right? Which is the AWA section kind of goes away. Because again, with the evolution, we do know that most of the international B schools already have their written assessments in place. So इसकी कोई ज़रूरत नहीं थी, right? But the overall idea was to how do we make it shorter? How do we make it more candidate friendly? But at the same time, we keep the sanctity of the exam in check. We ensure we are only assessing what is most relevant now.
Okay, we were talking about scores as well, and let me ask you a question around the score calculation. Has that changed with this particular focus edition that has come in? Do people get the chance to score more now and get into the top particular B schools that they dream of getting into? Like magically 650 से 720 हो जाएगा क्या इसकी बात?
Actually reverse होगा. But when I say reverse होगा, उसका एक context है, right? The scores of both the exams can really not be compared apple to apple because these are two very different exams. Structurally ये दोनों exam अलग हैं. तो score मत compare कीजिएगा. Somebody who was scoring a 700 in the existing GMAT will, उसका comparative score on the focus edition would be roughly around 655, right? That's all because the entire structure of the exam has changed and we are moving towards a percentile mechanism wherein very transparently everybody can go to mba.com and they can compare which percentile is a student at if he had taken the focus edition or if he had taken the previous edition, right? So आप कहाँ पे हो, कौन से percentile पे आप fall करते हो, right? So that's what's going to happen. Do not compare the scores in isolation. Somebody who had scored 700 in classic and if that person goes and gets a 685 in the GMAT focus edition doesn't mean he has actually scored worse. He's actually scored better because percentile आपका बढ़ गया है, right? So that's how the score change has evolved now.
Do I get a chance to get into the top B schools abroad with, do I get a chance to apply to top institutes abroad with this focus edition score as well? And is this something that they all are accepting now?
Absolutely they are. The GMAT focus edition's acceptability continues to be the same as the classic edition. You have the opportunity to apply at over 7,700 programs across the globe. As I mentioned, over 2,500 institutions are accepting the focus edition as well. So there is no change in acceptability, no change in credibility of the exam. It continues to remain same. Just check for the deadlines. Most of the deadlines are already passed. But deadlines एक बार ज़रूर check कीजिएगा. But there is no difference in acceptability.
I'm allowing people here sitting to ask 2 quick questions. I have time for that for the band. Yeah, I have a hand there.
Hi sir, my name is Dhruv. So when we prepare for CAT, there is a very much significance given to test series like mock tests and all.
Yeah.
But when I'm talking about the GMAT Focus Edition being a very new exam, there is not much of the very good test series available. Is there anything you can suggest for that?
Thank you for the question, Dhruv. All of this is actually available on mba.com already, right? On mba.com, if you go there are officially आपको 2 free exams मिलते हैं जो आप दे सकते हो. उसके अलावा आप 4 exams खरीद सकते हो, right? And it's all there. It's all official material. Our prep material is also officially provided, right? You can actually go and purchase the official GMAT guide, which is available on Amazon, which is available on mba.com, which is our own official website. You'll find it there. So from a perspective, unlike say CAT, जहाँ पे आपको you'll get materials from different places and all, you have to evaluate कि ये material देखूँ या वो material देखूँ. हम material आपको provide कर रहे हैं. So you don't have to go to 10 different places to search for कि मैं prepare कैसे करूँ. Material is there, official, made by GMAT, that you can go ahead and start your prep journey for. And as you know, from a test series perspective, all of those test series are fully fledged tests are already there. Please go ahead, take them. You'll be in a much better position.
Good morning, sir, and good morning, everyone. So my doubt is, I recently came across an article which talked about the number of people. For example, if there is a team and the team consists of 5 people, so there are 4 tech people and there is 1 manager. So even if the recession comes or this whole layoff comes, so the number of tech people, their requirement is going to be more as compared to the managers.
Okay.
So I am in this confusion because I am also from tech background. So I have this confusion, should I be pursuing a management course? Will this be relevant in the upcoming years? Because it's also about, investing a lot of money in years. So will it be useful at all or not? So if you could provide some insights.
Fair enough. Well, I didn't catch your name, ma'am.
My name is Tulsi Thakur.
Tulsi.
Yes.
So Tulsi, I think that's a very fair and a valid question again, and thank you for that. Let me ask you one thing, right? First of all, we also, and this is for everybody actually, recession को यार सिर्फ recession की तरफ से मत देखो. Recession हमेशा industries में होती हैं, right? Whenever there is a recession in some industry, some other industry is always going to grow, right? So opportunity अगर किसी industry में कम होती है, तो किसी industry में बढ़ती है. So recession is never a universal phenomena, right? सब business बंद नहीं होगा, right? Number 1. Number 2, it doesn't matter what the business is. Even if there are 3 tech people, right? It could be an FMCG business, it could be any business. You still need people to manage that business, right? So managers कहीं नहीं जा रहे, right? What's going to happen is अगर कभी कोई manager कहीं से जाता है तो उन जो बाकी 4 बचेंगे ना tech वाले, उसमें से किसी को manager बना दिया जाएगा. Manager तो फिर भी चाहिए होगा. और उसमें से कौन manager बनेगा? जिसके पास management की knowledge होगी, right? So management as a field, right, is always going to be relevant, always, because it doesn't matter if it's a small business, if it's a big business, it's a multinational, or it's a kirane ki dukaan. Somebody or the other is always required to manage that business. So management is never going anywhere. It's just as pervasive as healthcare, it's just as pervasive as education. Management kahin nahi jaane wala. But with that being said, please ensure that you take active effort in upskilling yourself, right? कि मैं manager तो बन गई, but in this world of AI, if I'm also not putting in effort to upskill myself in those regions as well, then you will become obsolete. So I think, when we talk about recessions, we talk about obsolescence, it is very important to look at context कि as an individual, one skill will not help you take over or continue through all different times. You have to evolve your skills. Management is a generalistic skill, right? वो आपको चाहिए ही चाहिए, but उसके साथ साथ आप किस इंडस्ट्री में हो, उसमें क्या चल रहा है, क्या ट्रेंड्स हैं, क्या आज की टेक्नोलॉजीज हैं, उसमें आगे रहना, उसमें अपने आप को एजुकेटेड रखना, फोरफ्रंट में रखना, स्किल्ड रखना बहुत ज़रूरी है. So these are 2 aspects that need to work together.
So thank you very much, Debaion, for your insights. It was lovely having you.
Thank you everybody for being a patient audience. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hi everyone, my name is Agrim Varshney. So currently I'm working with HCL Technologies. I have done my engineering and I have also done my MBA from IMT Ghaziabad. And now I have given GMAT because basically I want to now diversify my career path. Currently I am into sales and business development, but I am looking forward to consulting and other domains. So that is one of my major reasons, and so that is about my profile.
Great. Hello everyone, this is Harshit. I've completed my graduation in engineering, electronics and communications. I have more than 5 years of experience into recruitment, entirely with one company. Mastic Digital is the name. So 5 years of sales experience, and now I wish to transition my self into a more technology based domain as well. Like somebody was saying, like, what if managers are becoming irrelevant in this era? But I feel that moving into a professional space is also very important. That's why I've decided to give my GMAT, and now I'm applying for management studies.
अब 5 साल हो गया, now you're working in a particular sector. Are you seeing growth in the sector that you are in right now? Do you see that stopping at some point because you don't have a particular degree? And is it the reason why you are opting for a GMAT and not opting for, say, a CAT examination, because you have X number of years as an experience?
The reason why I'm going for an MBA is to transition from sales. My plan is to transition into finance. That's my field of choice. Okay. Reason why I chose GMAT over CAT is because GMAT gives me multiple attempts in a shorter duration of time frame, whereas in CAT you just give it one attempt. If you do not do it very well, 1 year is wasted. That's one of the major reasons why I chose GMAT over CAT. And obviously I also wanted to have that international exposure which GMAT provides me rather than CAT. So that's also.
So you have plans to go abroad and study. Are there any particular places that you have in mind that you want to go and study, and does that have a rationale as to why you want to do it?
I'm targeting European colleges right now. Germany is my country of choice. One of the major reasons is the 1 year MBA program that they have. The overall ROI is also very good. Fee structure, like the cost of an MBA in India and the cost of MBA in Germany are relatively close to each other, I would say. So that's one reason, and then I'm looking at UK as well. So these are the two countries that I'm targeting right now.
What is the cost right now? Like as a ballpark figure, what is the cost now to do an MBA in Germany or UK?
The tuition fee would range somewhere from 30 lakhs to 40 lakhs. Like that's the standard fees, and then if you get a scholarship, that comes down.
Okay, so that's close to a lot of B schools that it charges here. And you never thought of doing it from India because the kind of experience that you've had from India, you don't want to work further in India, but you want to go abroad, and that's why you're doing a degree like this.
Yeah, that is true. I did not want to do it from India. Okay, I would say the competition in India is really rigorous, so you have to put in a lot of effort as well. That's also one of the major reasons. Going abroad definitely opens up more opportunities for me. That's what I felt. That's why I chose.
Okay, got it. Agrim, is that the same for you as well, or you want to be in India and work in India is something that you're planning? And because I was telling people as well that you have taken both the examination, you will be the person who probably will be able to tell me, did you find it drastically difficult or different, or the same preparation kind of sailed the boat?
So the first time, when I took GMAT, so I was quite unprepared. And just like my friends boosted me ki, okay, you have already given CAT, so that will not be an issue once you give the GMAT, because it is more or less the same type of syllabus and same type of topics that you have to go through. So I went with that mindset, but I didn't perform that well. So then I thought ki, no, I need to give more time to this. I prepared for 6 months, approximately 6 months. To familiarize myself with the new with the concepts, and again with a better preparation, I went with GMAT focus, and I really performed really well in GMAT focus as compared to my GMAT.
Can you share your scores?
So the classic one was around 550, and my GMAT focus was when you convert to GMAT classic, it is 690.
Sorry, I'm not clear. What are you saying here? So your focus edition score was?
It is 635.
Okay.
But once you convert that to GMAT classic, it turns out to be 690.
So help me understand this. So this conversion happens why? Until what point will this conversion happen to B schools?
What I could understand is 635 contributes to 85th percentile, and that is 690 in GMAT classic. So this I think happens because to accommodate now the colleges are looking more into percentile thing rather than the fixed score. Like earlier, there could be many students at 700, and like how could they differentiate who would be the at a better score or at a better percentile? So for that, I think colleges are shifting to now GMAT focus.
Understood. Harshit, what about you? How many years have you been taking this exam? Is it the first time you have taken it, and what's the score like?
I gave my GMAT only once, so I prepared it for around 3-4 months. Last year I decided to pursue an MBA around November or December, so started my prep from January. I gave it once only. I scored a 720 in the classic edition, and then I stopped even looking at the GMAT focus edition.
Are you going to look at it, or you're happy with 720?
No, I am happy with 720. As I said, I mean, like, since I'm transitioning into the finance field, I had to do my CFA, and then I started applying to the colleges, and now I'm going for the MBA. So no, I'm not going to look at it again.
So is there a good news around? Have you decided on where you're going? Have you already gotten your calls?
Not yet. I'm still in the process of writing my essays, applying. So that phase is going on.
Great. All the very best. Just one bit that you can, both of you guys, I want to take an insight from. In terms of preparation, is there anything? So 3-4 months, you're saying this is enough for people to actually get through this examination. In terms of preparation, can you help them with some things that you guys did as part of strategy or tips or anything?
Yeah, sure. So like for me, the official material that is there on the MBA.com was really helpful. The mocks that they provide are really good, because on the same pattern you will find the GMAT focus exam, like the pattern that they follow on the same lines, and you can accordingly make your strategy to go ahead with the GMAT focus exam. The strategy that you follow, obviously now there are 6 mocks. The first 2 are free, and the other 4 you can buy, and you can again retake those 4 exams. So in all you get around 10 to 12 mock exams that you can give, and you can accordingly strategize based on your how you're performing in each and every mock.
Yeah, I can only comment on the GMAT Classic Edition, but I would say it extends to every exam in the world. When you go on the MBA.com website, they say train for the MBA, don't study for it. And I would say that's really how you put it. So I was preparing for roughly 2 months. My scores were not improving at all, and then I switched to doing the mocks. So I scheduled my exam. The time was from I think 11 a.m. to 2. That slot I took. So I decided to just study in that time slot. Make sure that I sit continuously for 3.5 hours and train my mind, till it becomes a muscle memory for me. How I'm doing my verbal section, that's my weak area. Okay, so I used to do the mocks again and again and again. I was taking my coaching from some institute. Then I took the Manhattan Prep mock tests as well. So the mock tests, I would say, were the biggest contributors, I would say, to my score. Okay, and you need to just keep on doing those verbal questions, those quantitative questions, till it becomes a muscle memory for you, and then you just apply it to the exam without thinking too much, and that's what did it for me.
So thank you very much, guys. One word to sum up your GMAT experience so far, and would you recommend this to people who probably are looking at you, not possibly here, probably somewhere else where they're looking at the video?
Like it is more of a journey. Like you will get to learn many things about yourself also, and how to be calm in stressful situations. Like for me, it has been really helpful, and it has helped me align my mind to to focus on certain things at a point. So in that sense, it has really helped me a lot.
I would say, I'm a strong opponent of the Indian test system, starting from JEE to IAS to CAT. I don't understand what's the obsession with Indians to make the exam so tough that the person can't even solve 50% of the questions. So I would recommend everyone to go for GMAT. Okay. So I'm not probably the best person to ask this question.
Thank you very much, guys, for taking out time and speaking to these people and speaking to us about the examination and what first-hand experience of taking that examination feels